The world is changing very fast right in front of us. The old world is gone, frankly, the world I grew up in, and we live in a new era in geopolitics, and it's going to require all of us to sort of re-examine what that looks like and what our role is going to be. And we've had many of these conversations in private with many of our allies, our allies, and need to continue to have those conversations. And I think Saturday, hopefully, in the meeting we'll have there when we'll them.
This is my video update on this Friday midday, February the 13th, coming to you from Larnaca, Cyprus. Friday the 13th, everybody. And also the start of the Munich Security Conference. It all begins today, the Munich Security Clown Show Conference. Yes, fitting that Munich starts on Friday the 13th. It's going to be a horror show. So all of the cool kids are going to be there. It looks like Macron is going to be there. Mertz, BlackRock Mertz. I see a photo here of Keir Starmer. So I imagine Keir Starmer is going to travel to Munich. Anything to get out of the UK, to leave London. Sir Keir Starmer. Get as much distance from the UK as possible. And Rubio, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, will be leading the US delegation into the lion's den known as Europe, known as Germany, Munich. Oh boy, I really don't want to cover the Munich Security Conference. I really don't want to cover it because it is always a shit show. So Rubio, as he was about to board his plane to Europe, I believe he's going to stop over in Hungary and Slovakia and meet with Fico and Orbán. I know he's definitely going to Hungary. That's going to be interesting. What is he going to discuss with Hungary and with Orbán? But as he was about to board his plane, Rubio said that the old world is gone. We've got a new world that we have to deal with. The world is changing very fast. Right in front of us, we live in a new era in geopolitics, and it's going to require all of us to sort of re-examine what that looks like and what our role is going to be. Rubio has said this in the past, that we're moving into a multipolar world. He said that last year. But a new world order. That was Rubio's statement as he heads to Europe. Rubio is going to be a lot more friendly, I believe, to the Europeans than, say, a J.D. Vance was last year. But we'll see what happens in Munich with Rubio in attendance and all of the cool kids from Europe. No doubt a lot of talk about Ukraine. Zelensky. I wonder if Zelensky's going to show up. I imagine he's going to show up. He's rarely in Kiev, so I expect to see Zelensky make an appearance in Munich. They're going to talk about Ukraine. They're going to talk about Russia. Maybe they'll bring up Greenland again. We'll see. We'll see what takes place. Wow, is it windy? Wow, is it windy? But it's beautiful. I like it. I like it a lot. Like this video. Share this this video. Subscribe to this channel. So Bloomberg put out a really interesting article. What did I say about Bloomberg just yesterday? No, 2 days ago. What did I say about Bloomberg? Never, ever trust Bloomberg. I've been burned by Bloomberg so many times. My God. But anyway, they put out an article that is grabbing the attention of everybody. Everyone's talking about this article, which claims that Russia is putting together some sort of a deal, some proposals, seven different bullet points, which they're going to present to the United States. They haven't presented this to the United States. And this is coming from people familiar with the matter. Of course, those people familiar with the matter. And the main focus of this deal that Russia's preparing with the United States to give to the United States is that Russia's going to re-enter the dollar system. Yep, they're going to subordinate themselves to Emperor Trump and the USD. That is what Bloomberg claims. Russia memo sees return to dollar system in pitch made for Trump. This is coming from Bloomberg. Do I buy it? Do I believe it? No freaking way. Do I believe that there are people in Russia, in the Kremlin, that Putin has instructed people in the Kremlin, advisors in the Kremlin, to think about different scenarios as they negotiate with the United States? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure there are people in the Kremlin, a lot of advisors and people in the Kremlin, who are coming up with all kinds of different scenarios and different offers and different proposals, different ways that they believe they might be able to work with the United States in the future. Sure. I imagine the U.S. is doing the same with regards to Russia. But do I take the reporting from Bloomberg seriously that Russia, after 4 years of being in a proxy war with the United States, after 10 years, 15 to 10 years of having the United States placing sanctions on Russia, that all of a sudden Russia is going to walk back everything, backtrack everything that they have been doing to try to leave the control of the dollar system, just to go right back into it in order to please Trump? No, no way. Not going to happen. What is Bloomberg saying here? The high-level memo, which was drafted this year, details 7 points where, in the Kremlin's view, Russian and U.S. economic interests could converge following a deal to end the war in Ukraine. It sees the two countries working together to champion fossil fuels over greener alternatives, as well as joint investments in natural gas, offshore oil, and critical raw materials, plus windfalls for U.S. companies. At the heart of the offer is Russia's return to the dollar settlement system, a move which would mean a stunning reversal of Kremlin policy and potentially a dramatic shakeup for global finance. Even Bloomberg says that this is unlikely to happen. Even Bloomberg, in their own article, if you go down into their article, further down into their article, past the title, Bloomberg says, until now, finding alternatives to the dollar rather than restoring links to the U.S.-led system has been a key goal for Russia, as President Putin sought to deepen his relationship with China. For that reason, Western government officials familiar with the contents of the document said they think it is extremely unlikely that Putin would ultimately pursue a deal that runs counter to Beijing's interests. Putin's spokesman Peskov didn't respond to an email seeking comment. It's unclear whether Russia has pitched any of the points contained in the document to the U.S. Yeah, Bloomberg doesn't even know if this document, allegedly this document that they've seen, that they've gotten access to, they don't even know if Russia has pitched this to the U.S. It looks like Russia hasn't even submitted this document, if it even exists, to the United States. But somehow Bloomberg got a hold of it. Anyway, nonsense from Bloomberg. Be very careful with Bloomberg's reporting. Like I said, I've been burned by Bloomberg a couple of times. Never again will Bloomberg burn me. Bloomberg, you will not fool me ever again. I've learned from my mistakes in trusting Bloomberg. How about the Atlantic? How about the Atlantic's reporting on Le Gobelin Vert? The Atlantic is saying that Zelensky is going to make his big pitch to Trump. He is preparing his big pitch to U.S. President Trump. According to the Atlantic, Trump is getting bored with Project Ukraine. I don't like it. I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored with Project Ukraine. Steve, it's no fun anymore. Project Ukraine, no fun. I don't like it. I don't like it. So Zelensky's going to try to reignite Trump's interests in helping out Ukraine and helping out the Zelensky regime. So he's going to make his big pitch to Trump. Please do not leave us, U.S. President Trump. Please keep on supporting us. And the Atlantic even claims that Zelensky is considering maybe considering agreeing to some sort of possible withdraw from Donetsk. Where have we heard that one before? We've been hearing this for the past 6 months now. If the United States really wanted Ukraine to withdraw from Donetsk and really wanted to end this conflict, they could do it tomorrow. They could do it tomorrow. So anyway, the theater continues. According to Politico, Trump doesn't want to sign security guarantees until Russia and Ukraine reach an agreement. In other words, Trump is never going to sign a security guarantee, right? Okay. Meanwhile, you have the very, very capable, very brave UK defense minister. The man's epic. He is a stud. Mr. John Healey, everybody. Mr. John Healey, the UK defense minister, who takes no smack from Russia or from Putin. Mr. John Healey. He is announcing that together with other European defense ministers, they have pledged, not going to give, they've pledged $35 billion to Project Ukraine. That was Healey's announcement. A powerful moment. The UK's defense minister, John Healey, just announced the UK will provide $35 billion in military aid to Ukraine. This is amazing. Yes, it is absolutely amazing. The amount of money that the UK has pledged in, and I believe interceptor missiles is what they're going to pledge, is $500 million. That's going to be their part of the $35 billion, which has been pledged to Project Ukraine. They don't have the money. They don't have the money. And they're going to buy all of this from the United States. All these weapons, allegedly, that they're pledging to Ukraine are going to be bought from USMIC companies. That washing machine is going round and around and spinning. It's spinning, everybody, that washing machine. Absolutely freaking spinning. Meanwhile, Germany is announcing that they're going to send something like five interceptor missiles or something like that to Ukraine. Basically, Pistorius said, you know what? Maybe we can put together 5 missiles or 5 interceptor missiles, whatever, but we don't have anything to give. That was what Pistorius said. He said, we're tapped out. Congratulations, Germany. You have been not only deindustrialized, but you've been completely demilitarized. How about that, Germany? Deindustrialized and demilitarized. And you know whose fault it is, according to BlackRock Mertz? It's the German people's fault, according to BlackRock Mertz. The German people need to work harder. Work harder, German people. That's why we've been deindustrialized and demilitarized, according to BlackRock Mertz. Well, at least that's why Germany's being deindustrialized. I don't want to put words in BlackRock Mertz's mouth. But yeah, deindustrialized, demilitarized. But no need to fear, Germany, Europe, European globalists. No need to worry about Putin, because yesterday, Stunning and Brave came out to speak to the media, and she proclaimed once and for all that Russia is not winning the war. She even posted it on X. Russia is not winning the war, she told the media. Its casualty rates are surging and its economy is struggling. Today, ministers will discuss how we can further support Ukraine. On the table are proposals to establish 2 training facilities inside Ukraine and to mobilize additional private capital through the European Investment Bank. My doorstep ahead of the defense ministers' meeting. And there you can see Stunning and Brave speaking to the media, announcing that Russia is not winning the war. It is not winning. If Stunning and Brave says it, then it must be true. Russia's casualties are surging according to Kaya Kallas, because that's what Zelensky told her. Zelensky told her that Russia's casualties are surging. The UK Ministry of Defense has told her that Russia's casualties are surging. So if Zelensky is saying it and the UK Ministry of Defense is saying it, and UK intel services are saying it, well, then it must be true. Zelensky said a couple of days ago that Ukraine's casualties for the entire conflict are at 55,000, with a lot of people missing, is what Zelensky said. A lot of people are missing, but the casualties are 55,000 for the entire conflict in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russia's economy is in tatters, according to Callis, and casualties surging. That's why we have to get more money through the European Investment Bank to Project Ukraine. We got to get more money to Ukraine, and 2 trading facilities inside Ukraine are going to be put together because Russia's not going to demolish those training facilities. No, oh no. Let's put together 2 training facilities inside Ukraine, and no need to worry about Russia at all. What is that? What is behind that curtain? Hello? Hello? Anyone in there? It's a changing room, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, that's an update there. Meanwhile, we have Bild proclaiming that Macron is being cut loose. He is being dumped. Lame duck French President Macron is being replaced by Georgia, the globalist Meloni. Yeah, Merz and Meloni. They are forming an alliance. Merz and Meloni. Where are people visiting us from? Let's see. That's Aegean. Yeah, that's from Athens. Welcome to Cyprus, everyone from Greece. Our brothers in Greece. Let's see. Germany and Italy, according to Bild, they're forming an alliance in Europe. And they're not happy with Macron. Macron's not being included. Merz is very unhappy with Macron, according to Bild. Macron went against seizing the Russian frozen assets. Merz wanted to take the Russian frozen assets, and Macron put a stop to it, or was against it, and Merz did not like that. Macron is also talking about Eurobonds for the European Union to take on debt so that it can fund all of its various investment projects. And Merz is not in favor of that because Germany would be on the hook for all of Europe's debts if that ever was to happen. And that would completely demolish the German economy. Not that the German economy is not already demolished, but Merz is not happy with that either. And they also had disputes with the Mercosur deal as well. And so Merz is dumping Macron. Oh man, the E3. Oh, we got a shakeup in the band. I just realized that. We got a shakeup in the band. So the E3, which is Merz, Macron, and Stammer, might become Merz, Stammer, and Meloni. Merz, Stammer, and Meloni. You get rid of one M, bring in another M. Yeah, that's going to be the new band, the new E3. Macron is out, Meloni is in. Let's see here, an alliance between Italy and Germany. Where have I seen that one before? Oh boy. Oh boy. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Where's Japan in all of this? Ugh. Oh yeah. All right. Let's move on now. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the US did indeed smuggle Starlink systems into Iran, Starlink terminals into Iran in order to foment the protesters, to give the protesters internet access and to keep the protests going. According to the Wall Street Journal, U.S. smuggled thousands of Starlink terminals into Iran after protest crackdown. The Trump administration has denied fomenting public unrest in Iran, but the operation shows it has provided covert support to anti-regime forces. In January, the Wall Street Journal says that the Trump administration managed to smuggle 6,000 terminals into Iran in order to keep the protests going. After the first crackdown on the protesters, then they started to smuggle in 6,000 terminals. That's a lot of terminals, I guess. That's a lot. Sounds like a lot, but yeah, the goal was to keep the protests going so that they can get the regime change. After, according to the Wall Street Journal, the terminals were given to the protesters. Then Trump put out his statements: "Keep on protesting. We're with you. Help is on the way." In the belief that they could keep things going long enough in order to get the regime to collapse. It did not work. But how did they get the 6,000 terminals into Iran? How do you smuggle in 6,000 terminals? I don't know. How big are the terminals? I've never seen a Starlink terminal. I imagine it's about like that big. I imagine. Anyway, that is what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. So you have Scott Bessent on record now saying that the U.S. tanked the currency in order to try and sink the Iranian economy. Now you have the Wall Street Journal saying that the U.S. was smuggling terminals into Iran. A regime change, no doubt about it. It was a regime change. By the way, we have a second carrier now that will, well, maybe a third carrier group that is heading towards the region in the buildup to a war with Iran. I talked yesterday about the Bush carrier, which is on its way to the region, and now we're getting reports that the Ford in Venezuela, the carrier group in Venezuela, has been ordered to move towards the Middle East. U.S. aircraft carrier will be sent to the Middle East from Venezuela, officials say. The USS Gerald R. Ford is not expected to return until late April or early May. So the buildup continues. That would be three. You have the Lincoln, three carrier groups. The Lincoln, the Bush, which is on its way, according to reports, and now you're going to have the Ford on its way. That's a huge buildup, if this reporting is true. We're also getting reports from Reuters that Russia is going to be sending oil to Cuba because of the blockade. Cuba is having a hard time of things, but Russia looks like it's going to step up and send crude oil. A humanitarian operation, but it's needed by Cuba. I'm surprised that Cuba has not asked for the oil earlier. Okay, I'm following the birds around. Let's do a clown world and we can wrap up this video. Ukraine is going to ban all Russian literature. That's what they announced yesterday. I'm not sure what exactly that means. I thought they already banned Russian literature. I thought they already banned all Russian literature, but I guess not. So they're going to remove Russian literature from libraries, from bookstores. Some reports claim they're even going to try and target private residences that have Russian literature. I don't even know what that means or how you do that. But anyway, okay. The rules-based order, the fulfilling of the EU requirements to become a member of the European Union, you have to remove literature. You have to burn books in order to make it to the European Union, to be a member of good standing in the EU. You got to remove literature and remove books. What else? The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the United States on the border with Mexico, that the United States tested out a laser weapon and it thought it was targeting drug cartels in Mexico and the drones of Mexican drug cartels. And so they used this laser weapon because they thought they were taking out these drones. And it turned out, according to the Wall Street Journal, that these were not drones, but party balloons. And so they used this laser weapon on the border with Mexico to take out party balloons. What is it with balloons? What is it with balloons and the U.S. military? Anyway, finally, we'll do a clown world on Trump's support of Pam Bondi, the train wreck hearing in the House from Pam Bondi and so many people, including in the Republican Party, are starting to question Pam Bondi. Perhaps she should resign as U.S. Attorney General because she is not helping the Republican Party or the Trump White House. That was one train wreck hearing. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone is concluding that it was an absolute freaking disaster, but not Trump. Not Trump. He was very happy with Pam Bondi's performance. He called it fantastic. And he posted about it on Truth Social. Let me read you a little bit of this long Truth Social post. AG Pam Bondi, under intense fire from the Trump deranged radical left lunatics, was fantastic at yesterday's hearing on the never-ending saga of Epstein, where one thing that has been proven conclusively, much to their chagrin, was that President Trump has been 100% exonerated of their ridiculous Russia type charges. Actually, it is the slimeball Democrats, many of them big donors and politicians, that have been proven guilty. Republican loser, sanctimonious rhino Congressman Thomas Massie made a total fool of himself yesterday, fighting aimlessly against a hopeless agenda of hate and stupidity, as most clearly stated by his crashing job approval numbers in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. And then he goes on to promote the person that he would like to replace Massie with. Trump says nobody cared about Epstein when he was alive. They only cared about him when they thought he could create political harm to a very popular president who has brought our country back from the brink of extinction, and very quickly. Okay, blah, blah, blah. It's all a hoax. Russia, Epstein. Hoax. No one cared about Epstein. No one talked about Epstein until now, because it's all about diverting attention away from a booming stock market, right? From Trump's "Make America Great Again" agenda, and making the U.S. the hottest country. It's the hottest country in the world. It's the hottest country in the world. That's what the Epstein thing is all about. Okay, he was happy with Bondi's performance. Perhaps the only one that was happy with Bondi's performance. He was happy that she talked about the Dow Jones. By the way, the Dow Jones dipped below 50,000 yesterday. And so when it went under 50,000, everyone was saying, okay, now Pam Bondi can talk about Epstein. But then I think it went back up over 50,000, which means that you can't talk about Epstein. You should be talking about the Dow Jones. It's also confusing. Anyway, that's the video. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on X and Rumble and Telegram. We are also on Substack, so check us out on Substack. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, and I will see everyone tomorrow. Take care.